Yo, what it do? You already know what it is. It's another episode of Ringside Mayhem Podcast with your boy. It's the GM, the KLASY, spell it with a K. You already know because your boy is just so sick with it. And you already know we got another hot episode. But no, it's not a review, but it is an interview. Oh, you see how I did that? Bars? Yeah. But before we bring the guest of honor, you're gonna see what I did there. But before I bring the guest of honor up, first we got some people. We got some people to help us with this. You feel me? So first of all, let me bring up, since it is her month still, we have the queen of thorns. We have the queen of roses. That's right. You might want rose petals, but you don't want thorns. We got Cream Rose in here. Come on and sit on your throne, queen.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm on my throne, see? And it spins. Woo!
Y'all, it spins.
It spins, y'all.
How are you doing, queen?
I'm good. I've had a good day. Yes, thankfully, today is a day full of roses, no thorns. Unless one of y'all piss me off, then I can't.
I didn't do it. I'll just let you know I didn't do it already off tops. It wasn't me. Okay. Just call me
like Shaggy already.
You let it catch you? All right. Thank you, queen. We should have you back in a few. Bows to you. And then next, you already know what it is. We got my tag team partner in the building. We got the champ is me, Mr. Champ is me. We got the Mr. Know-It-All champion, Mr. $1 Million Mayhem. That's right, he is my brother from another mother. Shut your mouth. I'm just talking about Mr. Sir Mac. Come through the domain.
Oh, champ is me.
Hey.
Champ is me. And the last time you heard from me, I told you that the Super Bowl champions will be the Rams. 9-9, baby, and Donald. Monster beast, 2 sacks, game-changing, game-winning. You know what I'm saying? Cooper Kupp did his damn thing. The Rams are your Super Bowl champions. Shades is on. And did you realize that you were a champion? Yeah. I know it. I know y'all know it. It's good to be back. And I'm ready for the mayhem. Let's get it on.
Man, I feel you happy about. Oh, you about to put the gloves on too?
No. I just just gonna put the jersey back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know you're happy. Let's also bring the queen in. Let's all bring the queen in because we, like I said, this is not a regular review, but this is an interview. But this interview right here, I'm excited about this one. This one is straight. It's straight for the culture. It's straight for honor. Whew, man. Can I get a drum roll, Matt? Can I get a drum roll? You've seen this man on Ring of Honor. You've seen this man on AEW TV, AEW Dark. You've seen this man give Adam Cole the business. That's right. I'm talking about Mr. Kaun. Come in, man.
How y'all doing today?
What's going on?
Man, I love the intros. It's a dope. I can't follow that. After that. What the hell?
You're supposed to. It's easy to follow after an intro like that. You know what I'm saying? You come out feeling yourself.
Yeah, I'm the strong silent type. I just walk out with no shirt on. People just stare at me. Look at my glory.
Yes, glory. That is presence enough, sir. Yes.
You already got Rose started. Come out with my shirt off.
Look,
yeah.
Rose, if you don't do a Mr. Potato Head, I'm a Mary Spud.
I mean, I wore my ring. Okay, that's enough. That's enough mention that he gets tonight. Okay.
She turning heel on you, LL. She turning heel already.
He already knows.
Mr. Kaun, if you may, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, our listeners, our viewers. Just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started and everything.
Oh man, I'm the Kaun Kaun, 1/3 of the Ring of Honor World 6-Man champions, former 6-Man champions. As you see me on Ring of Honor TV, you see me on AEW Elevation, AEW. You see me on the Texas Indies. Hopefully, I'll be going out west, doing the Virginia, DC, Baltimore from the MCW. I'm all over the country, man.
Definitely, you are, man. You making big moves, bro. Definitely making big moves. So I think one of the first things that I will want to talk to you about, then, especially since you mentioned, Ring of Honor. one picture that really I went across of was you and Moses in the dojo. So just tell me, what was it like coming up in the dojo for Ring of Honor? Like, what did it really impart in you when it comes to wrestling?
Oh man, the dojo was it was an experience. When I first got there, we did tryouts. So we was like all day Saturday. We were in the dojo with like 30 people. We were there for 12 hours in our gear, standing there. Did 2 drills. They got the invite, and like I remember getting the schedule. They're like, okay, Monday through Thursday, you're here from 4 to probably like 9, 10 p.m. And this is like some industrial building. It's blacked off with a curtain, so you can't see outside. There's no clock, and there's one ring, 1 or 2 rings, and you're just in there every day wrestling, bumping, doing practice matches with the same like 15 people for a year. And it got to like you just kind of got stir crazy because you're just like, what the hell, man? What more can we do? We out here doing high spots, superplex, power bombs. Like we're just doing everything to try to impress the coaches. But like I don't know what else to try. We'd have film study, and when we were there the first year, it was with Joey Mercury and Will Ferraro. And if you know about Joey Mercury, that man is you just see his name and you're just like, okay, synonymous with the Shield, Undertaker. He was in WWE,
Yeah.
but he's an enigma within himself. But he taught me how to wrestle. I believe he taught me how to work. He taught me that I had to get out here and move out of Maryland and go travel and do these indies so I could learn, become one of the best wrestlers in the world. That's what I'm trying to do. So it was definitely a hell of an experience. There's a group of us. We go by the Dojo Five. We were the first signees that got contracts there. We wanted to be the new superstars of Ring of Honor, which I think we all became. It's myself, Moses, Brian Johnson, Quinn McKay, and Dak Draper. And we were the new stars that ushered into this new era right before the pandemic hit.
That's dope, bro. That is definitely dope. And I see you mentioned. Go ahead.
It's funny because like people ask me about my time there, and like 2019 did not exist. I literally just spent my time at the dojo. It was work all day, go to the dojo for 4 hours, go to the gym for an hour, hour and a half, go home, watch TV for like 15, 20 minutes, go to sleep, do it again. And like I had no life. It was just wrestling.
That's what's up. Hey, well, hey, you know, it's almost like when you have Hell Week at football, but this was Hell Year, I guess.
This was Hell Year. Like, man, some days we get texts like, "Hey, come to the dojo at 2:00." I'm like, I can't even get out of work right now. Like, but you had to show up, and we would go show
get
up
here now before we kidnap.
Yeah,
bag
exactly.
over the head. Show up.
You be in there. I'll never forget. We were there one day. We got there. We had to go on a Friday. And we were like, oh, man, we had plans to go out and have a party. And they're like, no, Friday, you're going to be here. We get there. We sit there while the coaches have been meeting for like 4 hours. We're just sitting on the floor like, what are we doing here? Yeah, what are we doing here? And then after all that time, all right, practice matches. And it's 9 o'clock at night. And you're like, what the fuck?
Wow.
It was that mental. He was testing that mental. You know what I'm saying?
It really was. And I remember just like,
nothing.
Yeah, and I remember leaving, like, Bully Ray, like, gave me this handshake. He winked at me and said, good job, kid. I'm like, man, fuck you. Like, I just spent, like, all Friday night here. I got my food delivery stolen from my house from Baltimore. Like,
dang.
I get it. It's an experience. And, like, they had to do, like, they play these mind games and stuff. But I was just like, man, I'm so defeated right now. So defeated.
So all I wanted to do was eat my food, stay out for a little bit, make this money down.
For real, I remember we had like a party planned, and like those plans got canceled. Like we had to go to the dojo, I guess.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah,
well, not sucks, but you know,
it sucked.
You FaceTime everybody at the party, like, "Hey, y'all doing? Oh, my bad. I'm cool. I'm sorry, Sensei."
Like, it's weird. Like at the same time, I feel like I'm grateful for that experience. Like those group of people that I did that with no one's gonna ever know what that experience was like. That was like a chance of a lifetime to be in there with those like legends and learn wrestling for a year. And it was also like a crazy fucking experience where you kind of got like mentally abused in some sense. It just that's what the business is. I don't know.
Well, so that being said, would you rather take Hell Week football or Hell Year wrestling? Like all the takeaways that you'll get from it and everything like that. Which one you think you'll take more?
Probably wrestling. Like football was cool, but like wrestling, I made lifelong bonds with these people. Like if I ever get married, these people are coming to my wedding. Like these are people that I can call on no matter what. I don't see them for like months at a time since I moved to Texas, but when we meet up, we're just like a family. We're bonding, we're hugging, and we're like, oh, how's life? And we have all these experiences together that no one else can like have those same bonds with. So I'll definitely take wrestling.
That's awesome. I
For
mean, I
me,
definitely get that aspect of, you start off as strangers and become family. I mean,
Hmm.
look at these two dudes here. They're like brothers to me. So I definitely get that. Now, I heard you mention wedding. So um for me, I am married, but for all the
Mhm.
women out there that are not, would love to know, are you a taken man or not?
I am. But I keep that very private. Like I know people on the internet can be super creepy and whatnot, and like try to
Right.
divulge into my life, but I do have someone they're out there right now with a pup watching wrestling without me. So
Oh, so y'all ladies, you
yeah.
hear that? Don't creep into his DMs. Leave the man alone. Give that woman her respect. And yes, we
I
will
mean,
cry into our pillows at night, but we still
we
will enjoy
we will
what's
cry.
on the
We,
screen. Right. We will.
we.
There's no denying, Con. You are a beautiful man. I mean, it's just beautiful. Okay. I told my
appreciate
husband, I don't usually have crushes in wrestling.
it.
I enjoy the art form, but man, once they told me we were interviewing you, I went mute. I was like, "Oh Jesus, what am I going to
Yo,
say to this man?" But no, I respect you. I respect you as a wrestler, and I do have another question.
okay.
Now I know you are of African descent, so
Mhm.
from what country are you from?
So my dad's actually from Cameroon, this small village called Bua. So I was born in Minnesota, but that's where he's from. But I like repping Bua, Cameroon, just because like I didn't think there's a lot of like outside of Apollo Crews, you don't really hear too much about like African born wrestlers.
No, you don't.
But since I've been like representing that when I go out for my entrances, people from like Nigeria, I met other Cameroon wrestlers have reached out to me and like we kind of created those bonds too. Like it's something that you don't really see in wrestling. You see like the Samoan dynasty, but my whole thing was like, all right, let's make like a pedigree for Cameroonian wrestlers or African born wrestlers or people that have
Yes,
immigrant parents from Africa. Like, let's make that a thing because it's nothing that doesn't exist yet. So why not?
right.
Ooh.
I love that because in our culture, the parents can be very strict and very, you're
Yeah,
going to become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer.
yeah,
Wrestling just for fun, but if you're a child, there's no way that you're going to be like, mom, dad, I want to become a wrestler. They're going to be like,
hmm
what? You want to do what? You better take your
uh,
ass to go study and go, make real money.
true. I was
um
actually fortunate enough where my dad wasn't really like that. My cousin's
oh,
dad's like
good.
that. He
I
pushed them
love
into like med school and they're now like in debt with college. But my dad was just like, kind of do whatever you want. It was my mom who was like, what you want to be a what? No, you're going to college first.
that. Right.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
She's
Yeah.
probably like, "What the hell is a rest? A what? A who? Boy,
Better
I'll
Yeah.
wrestle you back. You better get."
Yep. Exactly.
wrestle them books. What's wrong with
He's like,
I mean,
what she think about it now that you're making a little bit of money? You know what I'm saying?
I think she just it's like surreal to her because you tell someone that you want to be a professional wrestler when you're like 12 years old, and they're like, okay, yeah, sure, go do that. But I told them when I was 12, I was like, okay, you want to go to school? Like, I'll go to college. I did grad school. I like got a regular job, and like I took this very safe approach to wrestling. Like I saved up money and made sure I was financially stable. And then when I was 27, I signed up. And for me, it was just like, okay, I want to sign up just to see if I can actually do this. But the fact that I've been successful so far, she's just like in awe. I guess one of my cousins just saw Ring of Honor like playback the other week on TV, and she was screaming, "Oh, that's my cousin!" Like, and I actually made it happen. But yeah, my parents are just like in awe whenever they see that because I was some quiet, shy kid growing up. Like I just was in the back of the room with my toys, like don't talk to me. And to see me now, like out here cutting promos, yelling at people I've wrestled in front of like 7,000 people, they're just like, who the hell is this man? Like this is just to see like the evolution, the growth of me. They're just in shock, but they're proud of me. So that's I think the most important thing.
That's
Should have been like
awesome.
it should have been like it was the dojo mom, okay? The dojo did it to me.
It really was the dojo for real.
Have they
Yep.
ever been to see one of your shows?
They actually did. What was it? This last October was the first time I've been wrestling for 5 years now. October is the first time my parents both got to see me wrestle live,
Oh
and like I
wow.
had like 30 family and friends come out to this show. Of course, like my match was like the best match there because they all came to see me, sold a bunch of merch and stuff. But like my family was just like, holy shit, this is so cool. Like you're doing it. No one in our family they would expect to be on this platform wrestling on TV. So it was definitely dope. And my nephew came up to me, told me he was proud of me, and I was like, man, this little
Aw, so
15-year-old
sweet.
dude, he turned 16. This dude's like, at first I remember when he found out I was wrestling, he's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then now he sees what this actually is, and he's like, oh, that's dope. That's my cousin, that's my uncle right there. So
You ever
Definitely.
get any family members that try you or just be like, do a move on me? I want to see what it feels like.
not really. I remember as a kid, my sister and I would fight, but
Backyard wrestling king.
yeah,
Damn.
Don't make me come out of
exactly.
retirement. Mac versus
Yo,
So
Kaun right here, right now.
That's what I
that's
did to my
technically
brother, and I
okay. Yep.
won. Hmm.
My sister would try me, and I'd put her in the walls of Jericho real quick.
Oh,
Wait. Was it the walls or was it the lion tamer? Did you like just halfway put your knee in her back?
Oh
Like,
no,
yeah.
no, I
Or
sat
just
down with it.
all the way. Okay,
oh,
yeah. You brutal. I mean,
Yep.
both ways is brutal anyway. But Kaun,
Mhm.
Jasper, Bishop, Kaun. Talk to me about your name and why what did you come around to calling yourself Kaun and what's the message behind that?
So originally it was just Bishop Khan, one of my good friends that actually grew up and got me into wrestling. He came up with that name. Bishop was my favorite X-Men growing up, and then he told me he's like a screenwriter, so he was looking into Genghis Khan. He's like, yeah, like he murdered like a lot of civilizations, but it's kind of a cool name to have, like this Bishop Khan. So that's what we started with. When I went to the dojo, working under Joe Mercury, when we were signing our official contracts, it was like all for show. He was just like, all right, we need to have these names for this contract. Like, no one's going to see this piece of paper in this picture, but like to give out the official press release or whatever, like, all right, come up with some fake names to put on this thing, which literally lasted like a week because then he's like, all right, we're going to cut the first names and now we're just going to do Moses and Khan. They always compared to Q and I, Moses and I to not the Authors of Pain, the Road Warriors, and like Hawk and Animal, like this old school feel of like these monster tag teams. So they just wanted a singular name. And for me, it kind of just stuck. Like my friend came up with it, and like, he liked to spell it differently, the Kaun, different than Kahn, which is great because there's now Tony Khan, and I don't want to do the same thing as that.
ooh.
Um, and it's kind of just stuck and like taking its own little pathway. Like people would approach me or like Khan's world or like Khan has spoken, like kind of just hits every single time people put things with it. So I'm just sticking with that for the future.
Word. Talk about your introduction into STP. Like, whose idea was it? Was it something that you all came up with together? Was it just fully Shane looking at talent, wanting to bring you guys in, or like how did that formulate?
So while Moses and I were first at ROH, like we were doing like these squash matches, and I think they were kind of push us as like these monster tag team, which is like, oh, dope. Like I like this idea because we can just go beat people. But then after he left, we kind of just like left in limbo. So we were this tag team with no direction. And I remember hearing Shane wanted to start this promotion, like he wanted to start his own faction. And we just happenstance did this like 10-man tag and like we went out there with him. And I remember the bookers Delirious saw that and he was just like, oh, that looks dope. Like I already knew Ron was with him, but like he saw all of us on stage, just the presence that we had at that show. I think it was in Pittsburgh. He's like, I think there's something there with this. So Moses and I met up with Shane one day, kind of pitched the idea to us, and him and I were like, well, we don't have too much else going on. And at the time, Shane was ROH TV champion. Having like we would study his promos because like he cut really realistic promos. So we watched this in the dojo. I'm like, I like what he's doing. So if this is something like, let's just connect with him. We kind of have the same mindset, same ideals, and let's see how this goes. And I've been telling people, man, we made 6-man wrestling relevant again. We made those 6-man titles mean something in that business, like that company. Like we did that whole division. We turned it upside down. We were defending the belts on the indies, and like we made this into something when they were giving us no help. So it's kind of like a little his idea, but then we kind of had this meeting, came together, and then it just stuck.
That's amazing, man. Like, and y'all definitely did make a big impact. Like,
Mhm.
even now, like you got people that like you said like will see old matches or whatever and be like, yo, wait,
Yep.
STP, wait, why did I not know about this?
Yep.
I know that was my we have Shane on and like the first thing I feel like, yo, this is man, it was a big thing, not even just for wrestling, but also like for our culture in wrestling, you know.
Yeah, yep.
And kind of fast forward, talking about the culture and in the wrestling, I want to paint the picture again. I want to paint the picture.
Right.
It's Final Battle, the moment right after Shane Taylor versus Kenny. And almost every, I feel like almost every black wrestler, not even in the ROH. Sometimes I feel I'm like, is that everybody? And everybody just in the ring and fists high in the air, even the flag for strictly for the culture, just waved in the air. How did that feel for you? And pretty much what, how do you feel like, pretty much you guys left a stamp in the culture for wrestling?
I think in the moment, like I didn't really realize what was happening. Because I remember he was like, all right, the moment this match ends, sprint to the ring and we're gonna go do this thing. I was like, all right, so we ran up there, hit the pose, and then like you get on social media that night and you're like your phone's just kind of blowing up, Twitter's kind of blowing up. And like what this meant for people, seeing this like that image printed on cups, people was like hero banners on Twitter and saying what that meant to them to see all these black wrestlers come together in ROH, which I think we had a super like diverse roster. There's a lot of black wrestlers in ROH.
Yeah.
It was just like heartwarming to me. And like I know that we have impact on people, but I didn't realize how much of impact we had on people, where we were changing people's days or perceptions of the wrestling. Like there was hope for them in this business, that there's like we're creating this diversity or we're actually moving forward. Because you always see like stuff with WWE and like to me it was like Bobby Lashley, Big E, Kofi, all these dudes becoming champions, and then like now you have ROH, this moment of all of us going out there, especially after Kenny and Shane had this battle, and then Kenny stood up too. Like it was definitely just this moment, and it's dope to see that as iconic. Like people remember that, and I at that time I just didn't think anything of it because like so many emotions were happening that day. Like I cried that day after our match. But it's dope. Like I realized how much of an impact that we have, and like this is a privilege I get to do this and like really change and affect people's lives with this.
You just got 10 more women fans. I cried that day.
And for real, like we had that 6-man title run, and I remember getting the time for the match, and we had this match, and like people just wanted to go out there and kind of hit their hits. I like to wrestle and tell stories, and like I get it. Like it was our final battle. We got all technically fired like 3 weeks prior to that. And we lost the titles. I'm like, nah, this shit like meant something to me. This is my second belt I've ever won, the first belt at ROH. I never thought I was gonna get signed by ROH. I never thought I was gonna actually wrestle. And like we lost these belts, and then they're playing the VTR, and I'm like, yo, I'm never gonna wrestle here again. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna wrestle here again. So all that, the culmination of the 5 years, the ROH dojo, all that shit just hit me, and I was like, fuck. Lost the belts. Yeah, it's over. Lost the belts. I'm never wrestling here anymore, at least in anytime soon. Like it hit me.
Yeah.
Man.
So are we waiting to see what's happening with ROH, or is Kaun and the rest of STP? I hear y'all having discussions with a few other different companies. Like what lane y'all trying to roll in?
I haven't heard anything from ROH, but I mean I have some things hopefully going to be announced soon. So I mean, we have some conversations, just have some stuff going on. Hopefully, within the next like month to 6 weeks, we can make an announcement.
Oh man, let me set my timer.
On some big things.
Set the calendar,
Okay.
It
takes weeks. All right.
Hey Siri, in a couple of weeks. Thank you. All right. Also speaking of again in the talks, when it came to AEW, just how did it feel? Just really just to be there for the first time, and how did everything come about?
So when that conversation happened at ROH, I got a little pulled over into this corner and was like, "Hey, someone from there wants to talk to you." So I reached out to said person. I was like, "Hey, I heard y'all wanna talk to me." And communication started happening. It's like, "Oh, everyone bring you to this show." I moved to Texas, so like they were in Dallas one day. "Oh yeah, I'll come out to Dallas." And now that I'm a free man with no contract status, I got to wrestle Andrade that day. I knew a couple people there because people defected from like ROH and went there. So like some of the backstage people I was super cool with, and it was nice to see them. Austin Gunn was in the ROH dojo for a bit, so I got to catch up with him. I knew some of the other talents there too. it was cool. Like they were trying to tell me, like, be comfortable. Like people know who you are here, but this is a whole new environment. This is the first time I've gone out by myself in 3 or 4 years. So a little nervous, but it was cool to go out in that Dallas crowd for that first AEW show because like I could hear the rumblings of the crowd, like, oh damn, that's Khan, that's Khan. Like I'm walking out there and I'm just standing in the ring, like, damn, like I'm confident, right? So like I know how I look. I'm like, damn, I'm like out here standing, like I belong to this bitch. Andrade comes out, his pyro hits, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Like, let me retract that thought real quick. I got the goosebumps and everything going.
Yeah, because like I'm a fan of his, and like the fire hit, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, all right, I'm here. But like I knew I had to make a moment, slap that man in his face, and like I knew I had to just get the little moments and like showcase my physicality, show the case that I could work. Thank you to Mark Henry, Eddie Kingston putting me over on commentary. Came to the back, and Mark was like, "Man, you look good. What the hell do you mean? Like, be confident in yourself. You did a great job for what they asked of you to do. I did good enough for them to bring me back. So then I got to wrestle Adam Cole in Orlando. Yeah,
that match.
That was awesome, man.
Bruh, the kick to the face was the one for me. You just said, man, get that out of here, bruh. Man, what you think?
He was actually like, oh, you trying to do something. Okay.
Exactly. Again, I'm trying to make moments. And like, apparently he was supposed to be there early in the day. He's a super nice dude, but he didn't get there till 7. I was like, okay, well, I waited all day in my gear. And now we're about to have some fun. And like, I like to wrestle like pretty stiff. I like to be physical. And this is an opportunity for me to again have like a job tryout. So I'm like, I'm about to hit this man as hard as possible and show that I belong here and exude that confidence. And that's, people keep talking about that moment, but that's what that is for me. Like once I start feeling myself, I'm gonna kick you in the face and see what you do. How are you gonna react to that? Because you don't know who I am, but I know you are. I'm here to prove myself.
Yeah,
so
I feel that.
It went well.
Yeah, man. And it's like you said, like still drawing that bit of realism in wrestling. You know, like you said, it's not scripted. Like if I hit you, what you gonna do? Are you just gonna jump? Like, hey, come on.
Exactly. And I train that way. Like when I wrestle with people that have less experience than me, I purposely do stuff. I'll smack them in the face, like I'll pat them in the head. I want to see how they react because that's how I was trained. Like again, it's not scripted for me. Like I'm trying to make this as real as possible. How are you actually going to react in the fight? How are you actually going to, someone like shoves you in the face? What are you going to do? Because are you going to stand up to me and hit me back or not? Because that's going to set the tone for the rest of this match for me. So I might just beat your ass then.
It's all about intimidation. Like you fit to step up and be a man right now, or you just fit to cower away and let me own you real quick.
Exactly. And like, it's funny because I literally just finally watched The Last Dance. And like I was a huge fan of Michael Jordan growing up. You hear that man's mentality. Like I put his speeches on my Spotify playlist and I listen to that when I work out because I'm like, this is the mentality I'm trying to have when it comes to wrestling. Like, if y'all don't want to wrestle that way, you don't have to wrestle that way. But I'm here to try to be a fucking GOAT, and like that's my goal right now. I'm trying to be one of the greats.
Dopeness.
I love that. It's all about mindset, and that's going to lead me into this question. So, looking at the industry as it is, what is one thing you would change?
That's tough. I think I read this Twitter thread one time about how indie talent needs to be treated better. Like a lot of us get lowballed in terms of like getting booked a particular way, and then even just like the pettiness between some of like the promoters, right? Like you get used a particular way on one show, and then a different place they use you a different way, and like these people have beef, but at the end of the day, one of them's going to cut you from your roster, and you did nothing. Like I don't understand. At the end of the day, this is a show. This is entertainment, right? This is all like it's wrestling. But why are y'all taking it so serious where you're affecting the wrestler's career? Like we're trying to make a living doing this, so like pay us better because then we'll come to your show. We'll be able to actually eat and like drive or fly to these shows and perform the way that we want to do. I'm not trying to drive 6 hours to make $40 because that's barely gonna pay for my gas even on the way back. So just like respecting the workers. From like a WWE, AEW perspective, I haven't had too much like experience there, so I mean, they paid me, so I'm happy with that.
A man of the money, that's my kind of talk. You see the money, you know what it is. Let's have a conversation about money real quick. You know what I'm saying? I just saw a tweet that you put out. If this business is about making money, I'm money. Talk to the people about being money and what it means.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a good friends with the Donnie Shanti, the Adonis Tahuti Miles. Him and I trained together at MCW, and he posted something about Brock Lesnar. He was on Pat McAfee show,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, for Brock, this is all about making money. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, if this is about making money, you need me on your roster because look at me, I am money. Like people have been telling me my whole career, and I do try to remain humble, but like if you want someone on your roster to bring in a whole different fan base or like bring in particular fans or like tune into the show, I look like a superstar. So why are you not signing me yet? Why am I not on your program? I look better than a lot of people on these rosters. That's just being confident. So I am money.
And what you should be. Confidence will always open every door that thinks it is closed before you.
I think so. Yep.
I
Taking
think I
this
might
from
make a shirt. Con,
Pause.
con
I'm saying this
freaking
now. Pause. But I think you
what?
might have to take your shirt off before this
Ah,
episode
man.
is over.
That's not what I meant. Y'all, oh my God. Okay, you know what?
Pause.
I'm over here
I'm glad
being
you paused yourself.
professional. These two over here.
I'm glad you paused yourself, sir.
I had to.
Mhm.
I had to.
I,
Did you hear Max say he wanted Kaun to take his shirt off?
Okay, he said it. I didn't, but I
Like
would
how
appreciate
how
it.
Brock did
But I didn't say
Corey.
it.
You want me
Oh.
should I get naked for you, Corey?
like Brock, what are you
Oh,
doing?
God.
Bruh.
That was awkward.
Con, one thing I did notice when you mentioned about influences and definitely the culture being mentioned in wrestling.
Mhm.
You mentioned people like Apollo, and I
Yep.
wanted to know how do you feel, or how does it make you feel sometimes when it seems like stereotypes are taken a little bit too far? Maybe it might be an extra accent. Maybe it might be, sometimes it's a little bit too stereotypical. I don't want to just say the
Mm.
E, but other
Yeah.
wrestling companies do it, but yeah, like how does it make you feel, and where do you see that actually? Do you see it fitting in wrestling anywhere, or where do you see it actually fitting
Sometimes I'm not sure how I actually feel, just because my dad is an immigrant. So like I remember like La Resistance, and they used to speak in French accents, and I never thought that anything was wrong with that. And I actually, when Apollo started doing that, if we knew he didn't have an accent before that, I don't think people would have a problem with it. But I thought that was kind of dope. Like again, you don't
in?
see African-born wrestlers on TV, and at the end of the day, there's truth to like some of these stereotypes. Uh, I don't think like I like what the New Day did, right? Like that's probably the greatest thing that's happened for our cultures because like cool, you see three regular black people who are into gaming who are just themselves. Like now the whole gamut is open for people just to be themselves. Like why do I
Yes.
have to be like cool? I want like my camera influence in my character, but why do I have to like okay, oh you're African? Okay, you come out with this headdress on, you do that, and like no,
Yeah.
why can't I just have that influence? I can come out in a suit and still be like a Cameroonian prince, which I am. But why do I have to do all this extraness? I could have my flag in the background. It could be that subtle. It doesn't be anything more than that. Um, at the same time, I know for like the E, like it's character driven, it's entertainment. So like for some people, it really does go over their head. And if they do it for people who are like from Europe, from England, from Russia, I get the history behind why we react in such a way. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't feel any different when they do it, or when like Mexico Cool or Mexico Squad are doing stuff. If they want to embrace their culture and do that on TV, is it necessarily a stereotype if they're actually embracing who they are? I don't know.
That's a good point too. That is a good
Yeah.
point because a lot of times we don't look at if off. A lot of times when we see something that sometimes we might find offensive, we be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, they made them do it." I'm like, you don't know that. Like
Yeah.
same thing you said about the New Day. Like, oh, they make them shuck and jive. I'm like, do you know they actually love to do this? Ish. Like,
Yeah,
this
like
is their choice.
our truth is who he is. If this man likes to rap and dance, who am I to be like, yo, just be yourself. That's who he is, right? So like, why would I be like, oh, this is a stereotype? No, that man actually still raps. Like,
Yeah.
he got stuff on Apple Music. People download it. Look
yeah,
at that.
like I get there's a line, and I get the historical like reasons of why people feel a particular way because of things happen in the history of this business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was
not
definitely
necessarily like that now, though. Like, and I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if like, do we always have to remember what happened in history when things come out? Like oh, back in 1970, man, it's 2022. Like, I get that that's a base level for stuff, but this is wrestling. This is wrestling. It's an entertainment show. Like, why do we have to make it so political sometimes? I'm just trying to have fun. I'm literally living out a
I feel
childhood
you.
dream.
It's just the
Absolutely.
history of people not wanting to get outside of their own mind because they
Yeah.
have their own perception about what it is. Like
Right.
say,
Mhm.
oh, you a Rams fan? I want you to come in and be a Rammer and be stupid and like and it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, like I love
Yeah.
it and I will enter it into what it is that I'm doing if I feel like it's necessary, but I don't need it
Yeah.
forced upon me. You forcing it upon everybody else, like, oh, you a ginger. I need you to do ginger things. I need you to
Yep.
say ginger things. It's just like how do you know that I don't have so much more in me to
I
give to
agree.
the people out there? You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh, I
just you get
agree.
this little tidbit of information about who I am and want to make it everything about what I am and who I am when it's never the
Yeah.
case.
No, I completely agree. And sometimes, especially with more modern day wrestling, fans don't know everything that's happening backstage. So when we were talking about people being them authentic selves, we don't know if they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Like they actually genuinely want to do the character that they're doing. We don't know that.
Right.
You could assume, but you don't. People actually don't know. People are trying to like discuss contract statuses. They had no idea what my deal was up or like what was happening behind the scenes. Y'all don't actually fucking know. Y'all think that y'all know because you might see a tweet or people come up with bullshit, but like you really don't know.
Perception is dangerous. It
It
is
is
very
percept
dangerous.
Sure
it's
is.
dangerous, but like it is reality for people. So it's like I don't know, a lot
That
of layers to that.
that's what makes it so dangerous because people live by what they think they know and what they see,
Yep,
what they think they're seeing, things of that nature, trying to keep up with the Joneses.
yep.
No pun intended.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they ain't tried. They tried. I'm just kidding. But staying on that topic, also, I would like to ask because we're talking about perception, and
Hmm.
one, I guess you could kind of say argument or just I say a sign of ignorance sometimes that you might see
Okay.
on like Twitter is
Yep,
when people would compare STP and say, "Oh, that's just a nation of domination."
yep. That no, yeah, that boggles my mind because like you see four black men, you're like, okay, media nation. But if you see every single, if I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be this ignorant, it's like every white bald dude, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what I would compare it to. Every white dude with clean haircut, like I'd be like white dude with white like regular haircut, Johnny Gargano. Like how are you? Y'all are literally looking at skin tone, and that's in the group of people, and you're comparing to that. So like, if y'all want to play that game, which I don't like, get into Twitter discourse. Twitter is just a cesspool of negativity a lot of the
Oh
time.
my God.
Oh
Woo!
God,
Twitter
But
is
like,
yes.
something else.
if people want to have that conversation, I can stoop to the level in person. Like, if that's how y'all want to compare, what about this comparison? I'll make you feel dumb. So,
Hey, that's
Pretty
perfect.
much.
Ooh, that's perfect.
Pretty much.
hmm
I
Uh,
mean, it's crazy how much people really have no purpose or viewpoint, so they adopt whatever it is that
hmm
they attach to or
Yep.
spend most of their time looking at. And unfortunately, that is social media. And
Yeah.
there's so much um, misinformation out there that people like
Agreed.
to twist it as truth. So, um, I have one last question for you, Con. It's actually my husband's favorite question to
Okay.
ask every one of our guests. Well, you're not a guest now, you are Ringside family, right? So his question is, when your career is over, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh man.
That's the same reaction we get every time.
Every time.
Every time. Oh man.
I think if I care enough, if I care enough that when I leave this business, that I want people to remember me for a particular reason, it is opening up that door or like creating this lineage of Cameroonian born wrestlers or African wrestlers. Like we have this platform, and like I'm one of the first people that did it on like a main platform. Again, I'm not from Cameroon, my father is, but like making it known because people are always like, oh, are you Samoan? Like there's other countries in this world, also Africa continent, Cameroon, like look at a map. I had to learn every country in Africa because I used to take Afro studies, but like we need to learn all the countries. There's so much more out there than that. But if like I can be, I guess, quote unquote, a pillar of someone who's like helping open that door and like educate people and like bring that platform of African born wrestlers. But if my career is short, like, man, I'm happy that I just got to do this and I'm cool moving out west and just like getting away from the world and living my happy, quiet life. Honestly, like this is such a privilege to even get to perform. Like I had like a serious injury in high school that at the end of the day, I'm happy that I got to get into my dream and live out my dream as a professional wrestler.
Man.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Have you been to Cameroon?
I have. I went about 8 years ago. Um, so my grandfather was the chief of our village. When he
Oh,
passed
wow.
away,
My
my uncle
condolences.
became the chief. Thank you. My uncle became the chief, and I was there like literally the week before we went out there. My grandmother then passed. Uh, but for people in that country, in that village, like death is like a beautiful thing. Like they celebrate the person's life. It's not sad. Like we had a huge party celebrating my grandmother's life, and the next day, my uncle got initiated to become the chief. Uh,
Oh,
I have never experienced anything like this before in my life. I woke up and like 100 men were out on our compound because we have like the biggest compound in the village since we are a royal family.
mhm.
They all brought like pigs and goats to be slaughtered. Like that's what they do over there. It's a third world country in some certain parts. All the women were like cooking the meals and like dressing certain things up and just seeing like the traditional elephant dance. Like I'm a part of this particular tribe called Bakwari where we believe that we can like shape shift and we partner with elephants out in the jungle and like seeing all this cultural stuff and like the mountain is in the background. I was like 21 at the time. I took so many pictures and videos because I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. And like, it's funny because you think about, okay, you're going to Cameroon. What's Africa like really like? You go to Cameroon, there's an airport, right? You go downtown, they have actually skyscrapers, they have houses, the residential areas. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Right.
you
It's
see what
not
you see
like
on,
what they show us here, right?
yeah. And I'm like, yo, there's downtowns. There's once you see a McDonald's, I'm like, okay, this is you see a city, you see civilized people, but where we were actually were, it was like 3 hours out into the village, and the jungle was behind the house. There was like cement block huts. There was no roads. It was just like dirt roads. But just to see like all of that, that diversity of all of that that exists in that country, and it's like that all over Africa. Um, that's something I'll never forget, and I hope I get to go back one more time before my dad ever passes away or whenever that happens. But I'm glad I even got to go. I went for like 3 weeks, spent Christmas out there. It was
Oh my gosh, Christmas.
yeah.
Christmas in Africa is an experience, okay? That my first time going back, it
Mm.
was during Christmas and I was just did not want to come back. I came back to America and for the first 2 weeks, I was pissed because I just didn't want to be back. It's a beautiful country and to any
It
of our
really is.
listeners, please try and go back. It doesn't matter which country you go to.
Mhm.
You will be received with open arms. Don't believe what anyone
Yeah.
else tells you that Africans hate Americans. It's not the truth. It's just trying to
Yeah.
keep you separated from your heritage. But
Yep.
explore it. And I'm so happy you got to experience that. That is a
Me
beautiful
too.
moment. Got me a little emotional there. So I had to mute out. But that's amazing legacy. And the
Mhm.
fact that you were able to come back from major injury to do what it is that you love to do, that we all love to talk about and watch, but you actually get to perform it and live it and do it
Mhm.
is such an amazing feat. And we bow down to you, Prince, literally Prince.
I appreciate
Um,
it.
a
You want
literal
my
prince,
crown?
right? I
I got a
mean,
few of
we
them.
we can ship
It's
it for you.
funny. I told Caprice Coleman, I was like, yeah, man, I'm like an actual prince. Like I get treated like royalty when I go back there. And then ever since that day, he's like, ah, Messiah. I'm like, look,
You know,
it's not coming to
just give it to
America, but
you.
like
no, right?
Got the
You can't
lines and
put it
everything on it, but I'm gonna
fuck it.
place it on your
slowly
head
put it
right
on. There you go.
quick. Man, speaking about coming out west, when was the
Mhm.
last time you was out in Killer Cali in LA land, man?
I thought we were just out there mid-December, all of STP.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
Yeah.
was.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we
tell
got to
me
work
about
out.
that workout with Fletcher. I command you to grow. I command
That's
these muscles.
hilarious,
What was that
man.
workout like? Because I know that was intense.
Uh, is he's a trip for real. Like I haven't been like I've been screamed like that like at the ROH dojo or back in football practices, but like the legacy that man has, and like you watch his YouTube videos and like fucking grow. I'm like, okay, this dude is gonna be like doing 200 curls. I was like, yeah, I'm nervous for this. But I remember like Shane telling us about this, went out there, got to the gym. I was like, all right, like I train every day, right? Like I'm not gonna be the one to fail first, at least. I'm not failing first. Like I will let my biceps tear off my fucking arms if I have to. But at the same time, I'm not really like too competitive of a person. So like we did the first pyramid, and I was like, okay, got through that. Like my arms already blew up. I was like, oh man, we have more to do.
Oh.
So we ended up doing like this round robin of passing off the curls, and like, all right, not dying here either. And then we had to like start going up in weight. No, we had to like out rep one another. I was like, all right. So someone went first. I think they hit like 79. I'm like, fuck. Like,
what did I sign up for today?
Yeah. I'm like, my arm's already hurt, man. Like, again, I'm not too competitive of a person. I'm gonna try, but like if he's filming this for YouTube, like people gonna see this.
So I can't give. I can't break. I gotta go for it.
As long as I wasn't in last place, I was pretty content. Like we did some competitive stuff. He wanted us to curl like the easy bar curl 45 on each side. I'm like, look, I'm older now. I work out for function. I'm really not trying to like hurt myself. I'm not trying to go home in pain. So I gave my attempts. It was definitely like a brotherhood experience. Everyone's screaming and pushing each other, which is kind of dope. But I remember I flew home that night and sitting on that plane, I was like, this is so fucking uncomfortable. Like you're just sitting there like this, like
oh Lord Jesus.
Have like a
Just give me all the ice you have.
Yeah. Like I'm just sitting there like this is all cramped up. And I hit up Moses the next day like, yo, how do you feel? Because he took a red eye back. He's like, man, I feel like shit.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm not alone in this, man.
Yo,
Can we say that was the most intense workout that you've ever had?
With someone yelling at me, yeah, but I push myself. I'm like a huge fan of The Rock, man. I push myself every day when I work out. Like I know people be staring at me for with the crazy shit that I do actually do every day. So I think in terms of like him yelling at me and like trying to force my arms to go, sure, but I push myself very hard.
So I'll say with that. So what is your what's your max? Have you done lately? What's your max weight?
I don't max out too often just because again, I live for function. I care about like making sure I'm just in shape and like healthy. That's where I get my flexibility. I did max out, I think, bench like 300 maybe 2 months ago just to see how I felt. I do the 225. I do the 225 tests like typically around Thanksgiving because for some reason the day after Thanksgiving, after all that food that I eat, I have like a great workout. So I hit like 225, maybe 22 times. In college, I barely hit that like 3 times. Like, fuck is this? So
damn, that means I'm out. I weigh 3 something.
Hey, I squatted over 400. So
okay.
I squat, you know.
What do you mean okay?
What do you mean like Melvin?
Y'all know it wouldn't be me if I didn't say something. So
not baby boy, okay?
It's okay, Card. It's all in good fun. I don't expect you to squat me, but at least there's some hope. There's hope.
There's hope. You putting prayers in this.
I see one of my childhood heroes / one of the people that I was afraid of as a child in your background. My uncle actually had like a Chucky doll right in the house. Right? And
I got one too, actually.
Man, I would like write on my Etch-a-Sketch at night like, Chucky, are you real? Because I was like terrified as a kid. And I wake up in the morning, the Etch-a-Sketch would say, yeah. And I'd be like, oh my God, looking at that doll. Like, how far does your fanship for Chucky go? There has to be a cutoff, and I'm trying to see where you cut it off at.
So I got the 3 posters right now. I remember seeing Child's Play when I was like 8 years old, right? Went to my friends, they're twins, went to their birthday party. For some reason, they were like, okay, let's go to the video store and rent Child's Play 1 and 2. That's what we're gonna do for these 8 and 9-year-olds. Great idea, right?
Perfect.
I remember as a kid at that party, I was like, yo, this is terrifying. Because seeing my toys come to life, I'd be afraid of that shit. That'd be so scary.
Yeah.
But now I got the posters. I got him tattooed on my shin. I got a Chucky doll out there. I like collecting horror stuff, so I got like a Pennywise doll out there. I want to get Annabelle.
Hi, Georgie.
You're scaring the hell out of Rose right now.
I mean, I don't know, something about seeing that movie as a kid just stuck with me, and I've been a fan of horror ever since.
Please tell me you have not seen anything past Bride of Chucky.
No, I got all of them. I watched the new series.
Yep.
I will. Okay, I'll let you have this series. It's just them last couple of Chuckies after Bride of Chucky.
Curse of Chucky was good. The Curse of Chucky was cool.
Yeah, the Netflix Chuckies were actually pretty dope. Yo, I like those. Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky were trash, but the ones on Netflix, the Curse of Chucky, Colt and
Yeah.
Chucky, like I like those.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a different direction, but at least it wasn't like that corny campy shit.
Brother Chucky was amazing. You got to see Chucky as an
No, it
abusive man.
wasn't.
Chucky was
What?
great.
You got to see doll face. I did not expect that. I was like, what is going on? I didn't know this was gonna happen.
Terrible. I see you got the dreads popping and everything, man. How long has your journey been? Because I'm just getting started myself.
Okay.
And it's been interesting. I can't wait until I get to the length that you got going. What made you start with the dreads?
I'm at 7 years now.
7.
So they're down past my waist. I'm definitely gonna cut like 5 or 6 inches off because they're a lot.
They're too long.
Yeah, like working out and like sweating. I don't even know. Like, I really want to meet Booker T. Like, how did you wrestle with your hair down? I don't understand because that should be in my face. I'm like, I would just cut this off.
You should
when I
just start
started the
whipping
gym-
people like Bianca does.
You got 2 sides.
Hey, that could be a good moment. But I used to have really long hair in high school. Like, I feel like a lot of people had braids and afros back then. And then I cut my hair off right before I went to college. I shaved my head and I rocked the fade for a couple of years. And for some reason, I just like felt like I wasn't myself in a sense. Like, I felt like I just wasn't whole. Like, for some reason gives me confidence. And like when I read about Native American men having long hair, it's like their connection to the universe, connected to their environment. Like, to me, it's like these tentacles that just like tune me into the universe. And once I like grew my hair out and I'd cut it off and I grow it out again and I cut it off. I was like, all right, I just need to grow it out and like get it twisted because people talk about like this ugly stage and like the first twist. I'm like, all right, this doesn't look that great, but whatever. Like, I was getting confident, just not giving a fuck. Like, whatever people could say, whatever, or just stare at me. Like, I just did not care. I'm like, that's what helped me grow as like a person, like just having that confidence. And as the longer they got, the more confident, the more in tune I felt with just like myself and living in this world. And it's just been a great journey so far. Like, now I'm at a point where I rarely retwist my hair. I don't care. Like, I'm confident. It could be nappy. Like, fuck this perception of having to have nice twisted locks. Nah, it's hair. It's gonna look the way that it is. It's gonna do what it does. And like, that's me. And that's what locks are supposed to look like. So
exactly.
it's definitely it's helping embody this attitude of just being confident. Yeah, man.
Because I fought it for a long time. Like, I've been through so many hairstyles, but I never like grew. This is as long as my hair has ever been. So I was just like, well, let me try out braids for the first time ever. And I got tired of that. And I was like, well, I don't want to cut it. So let's just try it out. See what it's looking like. So I'm actually happy that I did it. It feels good, you know what I'm saying? I'm still, like I said, getting comfortable with it. But not a bad decision at all. So I just always like to ask my fellow dreadheads, like, how you feeling and all things of that nature. But I didn't hit a couple of spots. Now it's time to go for the finish as far as I am concerned. I've asked Shane, you know what I'm saying, and a couple of other individuals that we had on air. This is primarily like my go-to question when it comes down to it. Give me your Mount Rushmore of trios.
Of trios?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good one.
All right.
That is a tough question. Just because when we're at ROH, there wasn't a lot of 6-man teams for us to face, so we had to go to the Indies to like wrestle these teams.
I mean, all time things that have influenced you, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you could always throw STP in there, first and foremost. But just trios, them important trios in the wrestling business that really got it going and started it off.
Honestly, I think we are in that group. I think what we accomplished at ROH, we're going to go down in the history books as being one of the most dominant 6-man teams in ROH history. And now, since it's defunct, they got rid of those belts. Like, they don't even exist at ROH. So we're going to be one of the last. Yeah, like I think I read a press release, like they're dropping those belts. It's just going to be the world title, the women's championship, and the tag belts. Like,
that's whack.
6-man.
Wow.
So at least that's what I read. It could come back, but like, we were the last ones to hold those belts and make them mean something. So we're definitely in that top 3. One of the people that influenced me to get into wrestling as I grew up was Seth Rollins. That got to be the Shield. Them 3. And like, again, I got to learn from Joey Mercury, who helped create the Shield. And he would tell us these stories, and like hearing about those 3 dudes and the brotherhood that they would have and the way that they would wrestle these matches. Like, I bought their DVD. I was studying their matches because I'm like, oh, we're from being a 6-man. Like, Those are people to learn from. They're all future Hall of Famers.
The way that they worked, oh my God, it
Mhm.
was just organized chaos, and it was just
Yep.
always that way, but just so perfect.
Always.
They meshed and gelled together perfectly.
Yep.
I got two on my mind. I know you're gonna say one of them. You got to say one of them. You talked about them earlier, but I got another one that you may or may not say. So I'm just waiting to see what you come across.
Damn. I will say the New Day.
Okay,
Like,
there we go.
Okay.
Again, because they, for the tag team belts too, when they were that trios, longest tag team reign ever. And what they did for the culture, like what they did for us, for young people, even when Kofi won that belt, I shed tears. Like, you get goosebumps seeing these moments because you don't ever, like, you saw Kofi's whole career and you're like, man, that band's never gonna win the world championship. Like, he's just not. And then he does, and the story up to that made us care so much, and then he won, and you're like, yo, they did it. Like, they did it. And like, I can do that now. His kids can do that. Young people can do that. And we can all dream to have these moments. Now Big E got to win, and like Xavier's Day is coming because he's fucking a fantastic wrestler. This man has started his own YouTube channel. Like, this man has multitude of talents. If he doesn't have that belt, it's a fucking crime.
The king.
Yeah, it's got to be those three. Honestly, like, I don't pay too much of Japan wrestling, so I don't know so much.
Okay.
But like this the history that was made with all three of these teams, ourselves included, it's got to be us three.
I'm gonna throw this up real quick. See if you throw that in there for that final spot. You know what I'm saying? It was a million other members afterwards, but them first three, man, changed the wrestling business, flipped it over the head.
They did. They never got to wrestle us though. So
hey, they don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke.
They don't want that smoke though. They've been trying, but they don't want that.
There's not a trio out there that wants that smoke with STP. I promise.
Facts.
You know, I see there's one group though that has been saying they do want the smoke, and that is the takeover.
They gonna get took over. They don't want that. They don't want that.
I've seen some things on Twitter, man. If they don't at me, I don't see their stuff. I ain't gonna search it out. So if they don't at my name, I've seen. I'll scroll through my timeline, man. But I'm like,
shots fired.
I'm
You
here.
gotta take over. You got to add to get that ad. You gotta add to get that ad. Yo.
Talk to me. Talk to my face. Holla at me if you think about that.
Yep.
So I'll say my last and final question before we head out is your eye to the future. What is next for Kaun? Are there any titles you're looking at? Is there specific promotion you're looking at? Just what just let us know what you're looking at. What you're looking forward to.
I have three things. Since I moved to Texas, my goal was to like take over this Texas indie scene and be named as like this is pillars of Texas down here. I feel like some of these promotions are afraid to book me because I beat the fuck out of the people that they've had me face. So I'm definitely trying to be one of these mainstays in Texas, like hard hitting. There's a lot of independent promotions down here, so I'm trying to run these shows every weekend. Number two, get that contract. It's a couple of places that I've talked to, so they clearly see that I'm money. They want me to come help them make money. I've been reached out by a couple of places, so as long as someone comes send me that paperwork, we can work something out. And then third, not wrestling included, I definitely want to like start monetizing what I'm doing if I'm going to be in this business. So I've been reached out by a couple of supplement companies that work with some high profile athletes, you know, kind of just like mesh those things together, right? Like I can be a brand ambassador and get paid to do photo shoots and like do your supplements or whatever. And I can also be a professional wrestler. So that's what's on the horizon right now.
One and the same, men of many different talents. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the money. We know what's going to bring the money. We connected to it. Just, you know, all we looking for is the opportunity. That's it.
Exactly.
That's all. I'm going to create it or you going to give it, but it's coming.
Yep, exactly. So I got some things on the horizon. Again, hopefully I can announce in the next month to 6 weeks. We'll see what happens.
Oh, we're gonna be on the lookout.
Okay,
Look, hey, if you want to, you can come on here and announce it. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Give us the scoop and we'll post it. You know what I'm saying? Before be the first ones out there and letting everybody know what's going on before you let them know. I'm about to start some rumors. Kaun about to take his shirt off every week in 6 weeks. Every Friday, look at Kaun Instagram, Twitter. You gonna have a picture with a shirt off and tell me what he's doing. They're gonna be mad at me. You Fucking liars. What you expect?
What do you
I
expect?
wasn't here to tell you the truth.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to remain relevant, other than wrestling, people got to see that what I'm worth. So
Definitely, man. Well,
mhm.
Kaun, man, we just want to thank you, man, for coming on with us, bro. It's definitely been an honor and a true pleasure talking to you. If you can, just let the people know where they can find you at, social media, and also, what you got coming up, promotion wise and whatever.
You can follow me at @the_Kaun on Instagram, almost to 5,000. Come on now, like I'm trying to at least break 5K soon. At @the_Kaun on Twitter, and coming up soon, I believe I got World Class Wrestling this weekend in Dallas. The following weekend, I'm off. I should be going back to Orlando for some AEW things. Got Mania weekend coming up. I think I'm booked for a couple shows in that. It's on the
Ooh.
calendar. I don't know. If anything, I'll promote it on my social media. Y'all could just follow me. I'm gonna get to 5K on both. Come on, I'm verified on Twitter. I'm a real person.
Man,
So
blue
He got
check.
the check though. He
Yeah.
got the blue check though.
come on
Let's
now.
go.
The Rock retweeted one of my tweets. Come on now, like why am I
Ooh,
not?
No,
Come
exactly.
on.
What
right?
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
listeners?
What was wrong with y'all?
Y'all heard the handles, but for the viewers, y'all see it
Mhm.
down below. In the great words of Andre 3000, you know what to do. You know what to do.
I like it.
You already know, man. Put that follow button on VCon on IG,
Mhm.
on the Con on Twitter. And for us, you already know, follow us on Facebook at Ringside Mayhem Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at RSM Mayhem Pod on Twitter. Follow us on IG, Ringside Mayhem Pod. Just click that little follow button. And
Y'all
also,
have no excuse.
and also for our viewers, on YouTube, comment, like, share, subscribe, hit that little notification bell right there on the corner. Ding, 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 hit that. So you can get all new just notifications of our new episodes. This has been the Queen Rose. This has been Mr. $1 Million Mac, Mr. Know-It-All, my tag team partner, Mr. Sir Mac. This has also been your boy, the GM KLAS, because I'm so sick with it. And also, you already know, your boy Kaun. And we are out. But you already know, catch us ringside, where all the mayhem goes down.